what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, and to love. That is absolutely phenomenal. So we're alive because we breathe, and the breath is our gift and our tool to enable us to lead a better life. So let's explore that in our chat today. The breath goes everywhere in the body. There is no part of us, mentally or physically, that is untouched by our breath. And in this chat, we're going to discuss transformational breathing and how it can help with mental health issues like PTSD, anxiety, and depression. When I did my first session of transformational breathing, something definitely happened to me. I felt the effects of the breathing for a long time afterwards. It was a really powerful experience and one that I do want to repeat. And as you know, I practice a lot of breath work. So this was something really, really special. I have with me today the lady who actually did the first transformational breathing session with me. Her name is Harika Pekinel. She is a transformational breathing coach and leader, a workshop leader, and she's a qualified mindfulness teacher and fitness instructor and a dance instructor. She runs workshops and one-on-one sessions for children as well as for adults. She's originally from Turkey. She believes in working on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being for our self-development. Welcome to the chat, Harika.
Thank you, Anshu. Thank you. It's really nice to be here.
You're welcome. Now tell me, please explain to us, what is transformational breathing?
Okay, transformational breathing is an advanced self-healing modality using a full diaphragmatic conscious breath combined with movement, toning, acupressure, music, and affirmations. And it was found by Judith Kravitz in America, a metaphysics doctor in 1970s, and it is being practiced over 45 years in many countries around the world. To be precise, it's around 54 countries now. And
wow.
Transformational breath uses open mouth breathing technique, which is connected breath with a relaxed exhale. And it is practiced to help people to deal with issues such as anxiety, panic attacks, or burnout. It also helps with improving breathing and feeling more energized, focused, and positive.
Wonderful. Tell me, how does it help with mental health? Can we go into that a little more?
Yes, of course. So if we go back to beginning of our life when we were babies, and if you observe a baby, their breathing, you'll notice their breathing is flowing. So there are no restrictions, and the breath motion from their lower belly to the midsection and to the chest. And we begin to develop emotionally from age 3 to 7 years old. And we are aware of what makes people happy, sad, fearful, or angry. And we learn to control our emotions, unfortunately. And we do that through our breath and, to prevent ourselves from crying, from getting, showing our anger or fitting with our environment or to please our parents and peers. So throughout life, similarly, again, we hold our breath, contracting our muscles, subconsciously shutting down the parts of ourselves that perhaps we haven't felt safe or simply to adapt within our surroundings. And doing so, we suppress feelings such as grief, guilt, shame, and sadness rather than express our true feelings, which leads to anxiety and depression. So using transformational breath technique, we allow the body to remember and relearn how we used to breathe when we were newborns. And by doing so, we release both physical and emotional tension from the body and support our mental health to be full and stronger. It helps to keep our mental status healthy and helps us clear the mental issues. So, for example, when we are feeling nervous or stressed and push those feelings down, we may clench our jaw. You might just feel that when you are angry as well. Or, our throat constricts or our chest begins to tighten, doesn't it? And even our digestive system can be affected. Yet, if we take a moment to consciously breathe deeply into our belly for a short while, even, we'll notice the tension release from the diaphragm and other primary breathing muscles. And this helps to increase our lung capacity and oxygen in the blood flow, which has the dual effect of relaxing the body and energizing the mind as we become more rational, lighter, and clearer. So it helps a lot with the mental side of things.
That sounds incredible. And I've tried it, and there is definitely something there. But tell me something, for all the people who are going to be listening to this chat, there's a lot of people who say, how can, like I've had friends who've been on medication, and they'll say, well, how can simple breath work help get rid of the medication? Medication for mental health issues, PTSD. So is there any research to prove that transformational breathing does work?
Yes, there has been lots of studies have been made on transformational breath, how effective it is over the years. I can give you some examples here, but you could also, the listeners could go online and search for transformational breath and researches on that. But I can give you some of the researches I just took a note of. So in Italy, in the hospital, they found that 12 respiratory patients who had COPD were given a series of 10 transformational breath sessions, and the oxygen capacity was increased on average from 65% to 85%, and physical, mental, and emotional symptoms decreased dramatically as well. And in another research, the facilitator Helmut Pipel of Austria conducted the study and found
Sorry,
out that...
who did you say? What was the name of the researcher?
Helmut Pipel.
Helmut?
Pipel.
Pifeil,
I think, P-F-E-I-L, from Austria.
P-H-E-F-I-L. Okay, Pifeil. Okay.
Yeah. And 57% of the subjects reporting a significant increase in well-being after a 6-session protocol. So the research used a series of standard health questionnaires and to assess the feelings at baseline after 3rd session and after the full 6 sessions. Also, we have Dr. Pippa Webel, who's in the UK, in London, and she's a certified transformational breath trainer herself. And she led a study that provides evidence that transformational breath helps improve generalized anxiety, social anxiety, music performance anxiety, depression, and well-being, and reduce psychological measures of anxiety in professional voice users. You can find all those online as well. And
wonderful.
Yes, and another last one I'll give you, Ayça Zapora, I think that's how we pronounce, and she's from Netherlands, completed peer-reviewed research on cognition relating to types of meditation. It involved transformational breath and found that even a half-hour session enhanced divergent thinking. This is associated with creativity, finding alternative solutions to a problem, original thinking, and generating new ideas. So I think, it proves that it works. But to see that, I think I would advise go and try it.
Okay, that's great advice. That's great advice, Harika. So tell me, Harika, when anybody is going through, say, a panic attack, they basically, what very often they stop breathing, or they hold their breath, or it's constricted breathing. Let's get into something like PTSD. How does something like transformational breathing help with PTSD?
Okay. So PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, is an
Yes.
anxiety disorder caused by very stressful, frightening events such as war, sexual abuse, natural disasters, and so on. And during these events, the body's natural mechanism kicks in. With the release of adrenaline, triggers some physical changes in the body to generate energy for the fight or flight to survive, so we can survive. And but following days, months, and years, following the traumatic event, we face some triggers which would make us relive the event again in some flashbacks or nightmares, which will result in severe anxiety, angry reactions, or avoidance. And when we try our best to avoid triggers of the trauma, the PTSD event remains unprocessed. So the body feels under threat at all times. And transformational breath is used to address and process memories and bodily sensations which restored in the body at the time of the trauma. So PTSD develops because of our avoidance of trauma reminders, and transformational breath suggests that we push the emotions and memories into our subconscious by holding breath during the trauma. So this might ease the intensity of the pain in that moment, but it does not make them go away. Did you want to ask something?
So just repeat that. Repeat that sentence again.
Okay.
Please.
So
no, just because it's very important.
Yes. So transformational breath suggests that we push the emotions and memories into our subconscious by holding our breath during the trauma. Because we are so scared, we just hold our breath. And this eases the pain of, intensity of the pain in that moment, in the trauma moment, but it does not make them go away. So they are also stored in the respiratory system as tension and pain, causing restricted breath patterns. So we end up breathing with just chest or abdomen rather than the full torso. So during transformational breath session, a non-pause connected breath assists those trauma memories and feelings stored at mental and emotional level to be integrated and processed. So once they are processed, the person will no longer feel that they are under constant danger. So how that happens is, with that connected breath, there is a magnetic area happens, and normally body has very high energy level. So with that magnetic power, the energy vibration, all the trauma and the memories, negative memories, they raise up their vibration as well to match the body's vibration. So the body releases the memories and the trauma.
Okay. So in terms of PTSD, you're saying it works by releasing cellular memories.
Exactly.
Correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because everything we lived is memorized by our body. So yeah, it releases the cellular memories. That's right.
Okay. And tell me, Harika, how does it help with anxiety and depression?
Okay. So when we are feeling anxious or stressed, our body can go into fight or flight mode, and we pump cortisol and adrenaline around the body, and our muscles contract, making the blood pressure rise, and our breathing actually speeds up. So the message to the body is to activate the sympathetic nervous system, which gets us ready for the battle. But simply when we change our breathing, the way we breathe, we can send the message to our body to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which takes us into a relaxed state. And the relaxed state is a more normal, healthier way of us to function. And it helps to keep all our systems in their natural rhythm working in balance alongside each other. And using the conscious breathing, we can reduce stress,
Mhm.
improving our mood, and elevating the levels of serotonin and endorphins. And obviously, elevated serotonin and endorphins would definitely be the way out of depression.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying it works on, okay. You're saying it works with it. You have seen it work in the past with anxiety and
Yes,
depression.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what's the best way of starting with transformational breathing? Can we practice by ourselves alone in our houses?
Yes, we could. But before I go into answering that, let me just give you one example from the last question. My
Yes,
mentor,
yes, that would be lovely. Yes.
okay, my mentor himself actually suffered from depression for 26 years and no
Oh,
medication, no
wow.
modalities, nothing helped him. And within starting 6 months of transformational breath, his depression was gone. So it's that powerful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That
So we
sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yes.
how we can start transformational breath? Well, the best way to start is receiving a session or joining to a
Mm-hmm.
workshop. So, depending on the person and their preferences, it could be a private one-to-one sessions or it could be a group session. They are both the good ways of starting. And even if you know the technique, you heard it from somewhere else, just do not start it unless you join to a lesson because it's very important that you get it absolutely right. And once you go into the session, then you can start practicing at home. I would say 10 minutes a day, like 5 minutes when you wake up in the morning and 5 minutes just before you go to sleep.
Okay. So you think 10 minutes a day, and you think on the average, you've seen it help in, and you said in a severe case, it's taken 6 months. But when will you start seeing a difference? Would it be 3 weeks?
Well, it depends on the people. So let's um, there was an IBS case, and he was giving 2 weeks of intense sessions, which was every day, one session a day, and the
Mm-hmm.
IBS was
Mm-hmm.
clear. So it depends on if you have a problem or if you are just feeling good. You can do once a week for six
Mm-hmm.
sessions and then you can just continue at home 10 minutes a day and then maybe join in once a month to a workshops,
Okay.
or if you are trying
Okay.
to recover from something, you just take an intensive course.
Okay. So, Harika, can you talk us through some tools that we can use at home to help with each of the above? So, with PTSD, anxiety, depression.
Okay, if it is related to transformational breath, I would again say definitely practice 5 minutes when you wake up. So that will give you, that will energize you and open you to receiving during the day. And you might actually notice that your day will go much better. And if you do it before sleep, again, it will prepare you to a better night's sleep, helping you to wake up feeling good. So if you wake up feeling good, then your day is going to be good, and then you are going to have a better sleep. So you are going to get into this circle of feeling better. And obviously, alongside transformational breath, they can, everyone can also try different breathing methods and having positive people around them, watching positive things, or reading positive stuff as well. It's just dancing. I do a lot of dancing. It really helps. But definitely, transformational breath is the core of everything.
Okay. And should we do a little exercise, Harika, where you give people a flavor, just like a minute or two, if you give people a flavor of what we're talking about for
Yes, of course.
transformation breathing?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So we said transformational breath is open mouth breathing. So we are going to, first of all, take a comfortable position. So make sure you are leaning against something or lying down. You don't want to be falling over. And closing our eyes and relaxing our body. Our mouth is going to be open, at least a gap of where a finger can go through your mouth. And the inhale is going to be longer than exhale. So imagine pulling an arrow and then letting it go is your exhale. So long inhale, short and relaxed exhale. So it is going to be a connected breath. So there's no gap between inhale and exhale. And it's going to be the diaphragmatic breathing. So the breath is going to go to belly, lower abdomen. To make that easier, you can pull your knees close to your chest. If you take a position like that, it will help you to breathe into your lower abdomen. So I invite you to close everyone's eyes now, everyone to close their eyes and just relax the body, open the mouth and just start breathing. I'll do it slightly loud, but your breath should be quiet. But I'll do it loud so you can follow my breathing. Let's just do that for a minute, keeping it connected.
Okay. So I'm going to repeat what you're doing, Harika, while people are listening to you. You've closed your eyes, you've opened your mouth slightly so that you can get at least a finger in. And then your inhale is longer than the exhale, and you should feel it on your belly. So you're in a comfortable position, and if you're lying on the floor, you can pull your knees up, which helps you with the belly breathe.
I think that's probably enough.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sure if the listeners practice it, they will see the difference happened in their body and their mind. I feel connected already.
And Harika, you've said you should do this 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening. Would you recommend it every day? Or would you recommend
Yes,
it every
I would
other day?
recommend it every day, but don't do it just for listening from here. Please do go to a session or a workshop and learn it properly before you start practicing it, because this can take you away and you might think this is like 5 minutes. It could be hours before you know, because if you are a person who's already has a strong connection, you could get connected and then you would lose the time. And it's very important you get the technique right as well. So firstly, please do go to a session and then start practicing at home.
Okay. So you gave us an idea of somewhere like your mentor, you said, it's helped him or her with depression. Give us some more significant changes that you have seen with your clients, areas where it's helped.
Okay. Well, I had one client, she had a neck hernia. It was so painful. She could hardly move. And if she goes into a car, she had to leave the car because all the bouncing, she couldn't handle the pain. She mostly was spending days at home. And we started transformational breath with her. And within a few months, it's been cleared. And since 2015, she hasn't complained about it at all. So she doesn't suffer anymore. And she's very healthy, very happy. And I had another client who had been single for so many years, and she could never meet someone that she wants to be with. And after one session, she met the person, they got married, they have a baby now. And she was told,
oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was told at a young age she was going through menopause already and she wouldn't have a child. So she had the husband and the child as well.
Wow.
Exactly. And I had another client again after one session. She had no idea she could draw, but after the session, she felt like, oh, I must draw something. And she started drawing like the fashion pictures, clothes and everything. They were amazing. So that's, it just shows how much it brings your creativity out and your talent that you weren't even aware of that could come out with the connection that is created by transformational breath.
So from what you're telling me, it doesn't just work on a physical and mental level, but it seems to work also on the emotional and the spiritual level.
Definitely spiritual, especially spiritual level, because while you are breathing, if you get it right, you connect to the whole universe, you connect to the source, and the breath starts breathing you, and you completely don't feel the body. You are just one with the universe. It's an amazing feeling, amazing feeling. And we have other examples, like many people became coaches because they had these significant changes in their lives. And we have coaches who had many years of drug addiction, alcohol addiction. They have completely given them up. They even said, if I knew about breath, I would never have started. So it's all in the positive.
That's lovely. Now, Harika, do you have any advice for the people who are listening in to this chat?
Right. My advice is definitely give yourself a chance to have a transformational breath session. Give it a try, because you wouldn't know it unless you try it. And obviously, once they try it, to start practicing it, even small amounts at a time at home. And in time, they will see the difference in them, if not straight away. Some people see it straight away. So don't just let this be another webinar or podcast. Let this be the beginning of rest of your life that you want to see yourself in. That's my advice. And practice, practice, practice.
Oh, that's actually amazing advice. And I will end the chat with a quote from Rumi, which is, there's one way of breathing that is shameful and constricted. And then there is another way, which is full of love.
Yeah.
So, and to me, love is all about connecting to the universe. So thank you so much for this, Harika. It was such an incredible session.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to our chat. This was Anshu Bahanda at Wellness Curated.